Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is in a very weird spot right now, and this is a game that I have honestly not wanted to talk about a ton, not because I think it's an awful game or anything like that, but because I guess I've had a lot of problems with this game despite enjoying it, and I didn't really feel like I could add a lot that other people didn't say. You know, there's a lot of channels that are more focused on Spider-Man than me, and that's awesome. But my problem when making content is that I don't want to regurgitate and recycle the same popular points that have been said by 100 people. So after playing through this game on my Let's Play channel, Degenerate Plays, which I'll leave the link in the description down below, I've been left kind of feeling mixed on the game. There's a lot of things I love on the gameplay aspects of the game. For example, I think the gliding is really fun. I think the swinging is fluid. You know, I think that the symbiote mechanics were awesome, and I think that this game visually is very beautiful. But at the same time, so much has come out about this game that actually made a lot of my concerns and frustrations feel much more valid and vindicated. Facts like how Sony was rushing this game for Insomniac, pushing Insomniac to finish this game before it should have actually come out. Facts about how the Venom adaptation was changed drastically to try and be kind of just its own unique thing, which I think parts worked, parts fell flat on its face. And also the Insomniac leak, which provided even more insight into everything going on. Now, that was something that I didn't report on or talk about a lot on this channel because for me, that was a very specifically dubious situation. One, reporting on leaks before, I've gotten channel strikes, things like that. But two, it was also something that was just straight up illegal. Like this was a hack. This was a cybersecurity crime. That was something where I was just very hesitant to talk too much about it. But it did show us a lot of different things, like how Insomniac's attention has been kind of split between so many different projects. And that's kind of why I think Spider-Man 2 is in the state it's in today, and why its future is a little uncertain, at least amongst players. So if you enjoy this video, it's going to be a lot shorter than normal. You want to leave a like, subscribe, I appreciate you very much. I do have a question of the day for you. I like these, they drive engagement, and they actually let me get to know you better. What's your favorite suit in Marvel's Spider-Man 2? Whether it be the ones in the base game, from the updates, whatever, I'm actually interested in hearing that. But speaking of suits, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 is still getting suits, it is still getting content. There have been quality of life upgrades, like for example, trying to address things like time of day, weather, you know, things like this, that I think a lot of people felt should have been in the base game. It also added in New Game Plus, another thing that people thought should have been in the base game. I really think this game needed another year. The problem is with it reportedly costing something like $300 million. I'm kind of wondering, one, where some of that money went, and two, how they ever expected to get more time for this game. Because Sony is obviously a company that's kind of made of money, but no company with corporate overlords and executives on the level of Sony is going to have infinite patience, you know, where you're taking more money to develop your game than some movies are costing. There also has been a general mismanagement around the Spider-Man IP when it comes to Sony themselves. Now, obviously, Sony has had their hits. They've had things like Venom, and while not being amazing as far as films go or holding up under critiques, it's wildly entertaining and extremely successful. Also, they've had things like Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, which are very well made, awesome films. But they've also had their stinkers, Madam Web, Morbius. And the reason I'm mentioning Sony so much is because that, I believe, is the common thread. Now, Insomniac had their issues with Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I do believe that this game should have launched with a lot of those features really just on the disc or in the base launch of the game. There was also reports of defective discs and other things going on that really shouldn't be happening with a game of this caliber. And then, of course, as well, I think the thing that really took the cake was the writing problems. Way too many script points were rushed. They were trying to fit too much into this game, I truly believe. And once again, we did end with a, I would say, symbiote arc that was adapted into just a span of maybe a couple of in-game days, which is frustrating because the symbiote arc is something that should take time to build and grow. It reminds me a lot of Raimi's Spider-Man 3, which, just like this game, I found entertaining and I enjoyed the symbiote bits, but they were very clearly rushed to get to Venom. And that's something that I'm kind of tired of seeing with that storyline, is rushing the symbiote to get to Venom. It's something a lot of people didn't connect with. There was all kinds of things in this game that I think are good, but also things that I think make it a mixed bag, especially compared to one and even to a more focused, smaller game like Miles Morales. But back to the Insomniac leak, that did really kind of show us that their attention is very divided. They've worked on so many games with people pushing more and more that they should be the Marvel Games company in a lot of ways, that I think it's probably something where how much can you put on a studio? You know, if they're handling development of Marvel's Spider-Man 2, they're trying to get that done and the budget is already ballooning. The time is already ballooning, but it's still not done. They're starting work on things like Wolverine. You know, all of these different projects, the Great Web, the open world Spider-Man game that was being pitched at the time, and even more projects that they're working on behind the scenes, all of these things kind of culminating together at the same time lead, I believe, to a bit of a unfocused and split attention studio that really would have benefited from focusing on one game at a time, but it seems like the public pressure and the corporate pressure on them has made that almost impossible. In a way, I think Marvel's Spider-Man 2 was burdened by the predecessor's success, the same way that Insomniac was. It's almost like they shot themselves in the foot by being so successful with the first Spider-Man game and with Miles Morales that they ended up in a position where they tried to reach above and beyond to deliver an even better sequel, but they didn't have the time, budget, or any of that stuff, or I guess I would say even focus, to really land that at launch to deliver a complete experience, which now leads us to where we're at today, which is a state where people don't know if there's going to be DLC, people don't know if there is going to be those beetle missions that, you know, were kind of, I wouldn't say data mined, but showed up in, I believe, the debug menu, things like that. People don't know what the future of this game is. People don't even know if there's going to be more suits coming ahead, really. We just are kind of flying by the seat of our pants, waiting. And if you actually look and see what the popular opinion is, a lot of people are kind of frustrated. A lot of people are wondering, hey, what is the future? What is going to happen with this game? What's going on? Is there going to be more? Is there not? Are we going to get a city that never sleeps type thing? Are we not? Are you just focused on Wolverine? Are you not? And there's really not a lot of information from Insomniac. One, because of the corporate pressure on them. Two, because of the hack. And three, because of the, I guess I would say, player pressure on them to deliver something great. Now, at the end of the day, I don't think it's any one party's fault. I would say Sony is the common thread when it comes to having problems with the Spider-Man IP, and it's led to an uncertain future for this game that I'm not really sure what it will be. And any attempts to ask questions about this are kind of met with, I would say, some over-defensiveness from fans of Spider-Man 2. Now look, Marvel's Spider-Man 2 has been over-criticized by some people too. There are people acting like this is basically the worst superhero game ever made. It's not at all. It does have some problems, which I wish weren't here, but it has been meticulously picked apart and almost slaughtered by some players as well, which I think is equally unfair. But at the same time, I do think a lot of criticisms of this game were warranted, and it's unfortunate that all of these things have kind of come together as the perfect storm right now in late June of 2024. Who knows what it'll be like in 6 months, where the future of the game is kind of uncertain and people don't know what to expect. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, you want to leave a like, subscribe, answer the question of the day. Those things are always appreciated. If you want to hear more of my thoughts as I played through this game with my wife, Jill, we played through the game over on Degenerate Plays, our Let's Play channel. And finally, of course, as well, we do have ways you can help support this channel, like our Fortnite code, DJAY123, or you can use that same code, DJAY123, at checkout on cosmobunny.shop. This is our store where we create awesome, one-of-a-kind pieces of art. These are comic book and manga inspired resin pieces like coasters, keychains, trays, and more. What we do is we get comic books and manga that are damaged that can't be sold. They're either gifted to us or we buy them. We take little parts of the art, we actually turn them into something transformative, preserving a little bit of that, creating something new in a transformative way. And then what we do is we recycle the rest. So we're upcycling, we're recycling, we're creating one-of-a-kind awesome stuff for your home. Goes to help support the channel and my wife Jill. also makes wonderful, amazing, hand-beaded, handmade jewelry as well on this website, which, again, goes to help support us. So we appreciate you very much. I hope you have a fantastic day. And as always, everyone, stay shui.